Hey everybody, welcome back to Hot Rod's Recipes. I'm Rodney. Today I'm going to share with you a recipe that my mom gave me for tomato soup cake. As a child, she used to call it a spice cake. She probably figured we're never going to eat this if it's called tomato soup cake. And she was half right, because it tastes exactly like a spice cake. Now if that's something that sounds interesting to you, continue watching this video and I'll show you how easy it is to make. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add a stick of butter to our bowl and cream it. So here I got my hand mixer. Next we're going to add sugar and a beaten egg. Let's give this another mix. Now we want to add our tomato soup. Let's give this another mix. That looks pretty good. Now let's add some of our dry ingredients. First, we're going to add our flour, as you would expect, baking soda, baking powder, ground cinnamon, some ground nutmeg, cloves, and finally a little salt. Now let's mix this up thoroughly. Okay, now let's scrape the sides, making sure everything gets into the batter here. Let's continue mixing. There we go, that looks good. Before we put it in the dish for baking, the original recipe that my mom had given me had raisins in it. So this is where you would add the raisins, fold them in with a spatula. My wife doesn't really care for raisins, so I'm going to skip that step. But if you like raisins, this is the time to add it. Like I said, just fold it in with a spatula until well combined. All right, so this time around I'm going to use a loaf pan, lightly greased. You can also make it in a 9-inch cake pan, square, round, whatever you prefer. But this time around I decided to use a loaf pan, so it doesn't really matter as long as you use a pan that's big enough for this amount of batter. So as you can see, a standard 9x5 loaf pan works fine. And of course, making a mess in typical fashion, but I'm just going to spread this out a bit. No need to worry too much about that because it will rise. Let's get some of this in here. Don't like to waste, pardon the fingers. And I'm just going to clean up as much as I can here the side so I don't get some kind of burnt crust. That's just me being me. And now we are going to bake this for about 45 minutes at 350 or until a toothpick inserted into the thicker parts of the bread come out clean. That's when you're going to know it's done. All right, so right about 45 minutes on the dot. Doesn't that look great? So now I'm going to let it sit in the pan until it cools down. maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then I will remove it from the pan and let it cool completely on a wire rack before frosting. Frosting's optional, but you want it to completely cool down. All right, and there we have it. Tomato soup cake in the shape of a loaf. I let it sit on the wire rack for a better part of an hour until it was cool enough, and I plated it. So now that the loaf is cool, we are going to cut it for the big reveal. Okay, so before I cut into this tomato soup cake slash loaf, I have a favor to ask. If you've enjoyed this video so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like and the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. So if you've been watching the video up until now, you probably have noticed I don't have frosting on it. At the last minute, I decided that the frosting would take away from this delicious cake, so I'm going to leave it off. But I think you can all visualize what this cake would look like with the frosting. So that being said, I'm going to slice into this and hopefully zoom in so you can all see what it looks like. It very much resembles a pumpkin bread. So now I'm going to take a second and put that on a plate. Here we go. Doesn't that look awesome? Looks like pumpkin bread, spice cake, call it whatever, but this is a tomato soup cake. So I'm just going to grab a corner here, if I may, and give it a shot. Delicious as usual. Again, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.